We are back with a special edition of Litter Media Live to talk about Holiday Pops Spectacular, the Columbus Symphony coming back to Chillicothe. In just a moment, we'll hear from Mayor Luke Feeney and also the Executive Director of the Chillicothe-Ross Community Foundation, Mr. Scott Graham. Just ahead, but first, these fine words from Advanced Services.
Hi, I'm Dave Pinkerton with Advanced Services Heating and Cooling, your local heating and cooling expert. If you want quality service, quality installation, give Advanced Services a call, 740-773-4499.
Back again. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Scott Graham, Luke Feeney, I'm Dan Ramey, and it's holiday time. I know we've got some fall scenery behind us on the screen here, but before we know it, it's going to be Christmas and snow and everything else, right?
'Tis the season.
Yeah. The Holiday Pops Spectacular makes its return, and this is a big fundraising opportunity, but also a chance to really to get to enjoy music, holiday sounds, not have to drive to Columbus to see the symphony.
Absolutely. You know, the Holiday Pop Spectacular is quickly becoming a signature holiday event for our community. And last year, the Community Foundation was thrilled to be able to jump in and be a part of that. Mayor, you brought that to the community. And this year, here we go again. Hey, we're kind of excited. And this year promises to be even bigger and better. And we're just excited about bringing folks together again. The high school symphony will be a part of that. And then, of course, the Columbus Symphony Orchestra coming in at the end. It'll be a wonderful time.
How did this fall into our laps?
Great question. The Columbus Symphony, I think, particularly coming out of the pandemic, was looking for opportunities to engage with communities. I think they have a mission that is very much, it's in their name. It's the Columbus Symphony, but wanted to get out into different communities. And in Somerset, the mayor of Somerset had brought the symphony in for a summer program, and he introduced me to their director and the programming director, and we had some conversations, and he came down, and he really got excited about bringing the event to Chillicothe. And Scott and I talked, and we talked about the history of different sort of arts events in the community, and it was late in the season last year.
Just a couple of weeks before.
Yeah, but there was so much enthusiasm behind it, so we said, yep, we'll take you up on the offer, and we were off to the races, and the foundation just really stepped up. And it was kind of a mini Christmas miracle, I thought, the way it came together and just how neat it was.
If those watching were around in 2003, you might recall the bicentennial, and Scott was very much involved with the bicentennial at that time for Ohio. And you, of course, also had another big event involving an orchestra that you helped bring to Chillicothe.
Just a small, not well-known group called the Boston Pops.
Yeah.
And that was quite an exciting time. Had thousands of people over at the VA, and these are the kinds of things that help a community with culture and growth, and so we're excited to be able to make this now a regular event, and it's quickly a signature event. And so with the Columbus Symphony coming, we're going to see hopefully thousands of people come out and be a part of this event. It'd be a fun time.
Now keep in mind, it's not the entire symphony, but it is a portion of the symphony that goes, and yeah, it's not like I say 100%, but it's about 80% of the symphony, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big part of it, and it's just electric. I mean, from last year's concert, it just filled the room, and it's in the gym at the Shoemaker Center, and it just is. It's just exciting to be a part of that. I feel like you're right in the middle of the music.
You truly are, because the seating capacity is much closer than you would have at the Ohio Theater or any place like that.
Right. Yeah, we have tables that are just within feet of the director, the conductor, and then of course the rest of the seating in the gymnasium as well. And it just fills the whole room. It's just wonderful.
You can touch the conductor's tails
almost
on his tuxedo.
Almost. Just touch the hem of his garment.
You probably won't get the same type of healing as where that famous story came from there. When we look at last year, did you, you had a number of people there, and like you said, you pulled it off in just a couple of weeks' time. Now you've had a whole year to think about it. Go back to what it was like last year, and I'm sure it was jaw-dropping at times.
Well, yeah, it was sort of one of those things where we said, yeah, we can do that. And then we looked at each other and said, what did we just sign up for?
And how are we going to make that happen?
Yeah. But we had so many people volunteer, Dean Milliken up at OUC and the volunteers that came out, the high school orchestra. I think the enthusiasm behind it, and for me personally and for my family, some of the volunteers and the people, Scott, just more familiar with the symphony, what a Pops concert might be like. I was just happy to help, but that night when I got there and really experienced the evening, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it because it was that big of a deal. And because I hadn't been to the symphony before, I really didn't realize what we were getting into. And I think that people like Scott and the volunteers that pulled it together really had that vision of what it could be. And so last year really delivered, but now having, months more to plan for it, pulling it together, the community having much more advanced notice about it. We're seeing sponsors come out of the woodwork. People just want to be a part of it. And that's why I think it's going to be just such a neat Christmas tradition for years to come. It just felt great to be there.
I've been involved with a couple of events that symphony ensembles have participated in, like up at Adena Mansion and Gardens. And when the Ohio State Marching Band came here, it was so cool to see the symphony come down. That's just as cool, if not cooler.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And they're an elite group. This is not just some little orchestra. No, this is an elite orchestra, one of the best in the country. And to have them be right in our own backyard is just quite an experience.
I want to say the conductor's name is Jenkins, last name is Jenkins.
I believe so.
We had a chat with him last year, and perhaps we can connect with him again this year to talk more about it. But he said that what we try and do is we try and get the audience engaged in the show also, and that's more than just sitting back and listening to them play. You get to do a little name that tune and different things like that too.
Yeah, it's a Pops concert, so it's not. It's familiar tunes, it's familiar songs, it's things you'll be singing, it's things you're humming in the holiday season. There's a little classical, but for the most part, it's very familiar things to get the audience involved and get the audience singing. There possibly will be some soloists there that are just phenomenal, and it just is a wonderful night. Yeah. It's a family event. We want kids to come as well.
I was about to mention you've got young kids, and I'm sure they would enjoy something like this.
Oh yeah, and we made sure to make this event a family event. The time of night, families can come out. We had a guest last year from Santa, a guest visit from Santa. We might have a guest visit again this year.
If you've been good enough.
That's right. That's right. And even Scott mentioning soloist, for me, that didn't, because I'm such a newbie to the symphony, I'm picturing a single person playing a single instrument, but the soloists are these people who could sing like nothing I had ever heard before. Right. And so you really feel like and this isn't to be critical of symphony or anything like that, but when I heard symphony or when I thought of symphony, the picture in my mind is something a little more stuffy. Mm-hmm. You have to get dressed up and have a fancy dinner. This was a very accessible, warm, family-oriented, sing-along event, just with incredibly talented musicians. And I think that's what I want to get across, and what we want to get across to the community is this is promoting arts in a way that is accessible and familiar and fun, not something that feels like it's different or we can't be a part of it. So if you're curious about it or want to see the Chillicothe High School orchestra perform and then follow that up with the symphony, I think this is just such a great chance to drive just up the hill and see an incredible concert.
As a high schooler, I was a performer also in regards to being in concert band and so on and so forth. This is huge for those kids to get a chance to not only perform in front of these professional musicians, but they get a chance to mingle with them and talk to someone who's playing the same instrument or playing in the same. That's just something you can't get anywhere else unless you go to college.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you actually know some of the folks that were in the symphony. Yeah. And last year we connected with them as well. And it's just really a great hands-on opportunity for these folks, the kids, to see them and to watch them, see how they're doing it. I brought my own grandkids last year, and my granddaughter's in the band, and she just enjoyed so much seeing the professionals do what they do.
Yeah, it's like, man, I really can go somewhere
Right.
with learning the violin or whatever instrument you play.
Right. It's just an amazing opportunity.
This is a 5 o'clock concert. It'll be on Sunday, December 11th, up at OU-C
Right.
inside Shoemaker Center.
The high school orchestra, the Chillicothe High School Orchestra, begins the night at 5 o'clock. They'll play for a segment, and then a few minutes later, about a little bit around 6 o'clock, then the Columbus Symphony will take off.
And I will tell you that listening to the Chillicothe Symphony is not like going to, an 8-year-old's piano recital.
Very good.
And I'm not knocking an 8-year-old's piano recital. I'm just trying to say these kids are pretty good too.
Oh, absolutely. And so the kids do a great job, and they're the warm-up act.
Yeah.
Because then the big guys come on, and boy, do they then knock it out of the park.
Yeah, absolutely. How do we get tickets?
Well, tickets are available through Eventbrite or through the Ross-Chillicothe Convention and Visitors Bureau. We do still have, as of today, some tables that are available for businesses and folks that want to bring a group of folks. So that's a great way to support the orchestra. Dan, you mentioned that this has become really a fundraiser, and thanks to donors and thanks to folks through the Community Foundation, we've been able to cover the majority of the cost of the symphony, and we're able now to give back to the community from this. And so last year, we created what we call the Community Fine Arts Fund, which the proceeds from the concert and sponsorships go to that, and that enables us to bring this kind of thing back in the future. Also this year, Adina is our presenting sponsor for the concert, and so Adina has stepped up in a very large way, and we're also going to use the proceeds to help benefit the Hope Clinic here in Chillicothe. So all the proceeds from the event stay right here in our community. That makes it a win-win for all of us. So when you buy a ticket to come to see the Columbus Symphony, not only are you enjoying the concert, but the proceeds are going directly to community organizations.
Right. What a great relationship Adina has been with the city of Chillicothe, with your community
Absolutely.
foundation and all. You need people like that.
Absolutely, and we're grateful for Adina's sponsorship this year. They decided, hey, we want to be able to make this happen, but it's not just the concert they want to make happen. They also want to support other important community organizations. The nonprofits in our community really help drive what happens here, and the Hope Clinic is serving our community in just a powerful way. And so to be able to see some of these funds now go back to Hope Clinic is just a win.
And they can really use the money.
Absolutely.
I've done a lot of work with them over the years, and these people pour their heart. You talk about doctors who volunteer their time,
Yes.
Not just doctors, but other persons in the medical industry that donate their time once a week for a service that really is helpful for the community.
Yeah, I think we're just so fortunate in this community. It's almost like you get used to all the nonprofits that step up and fill in these gaps, and it's really kind of what you're saying, Scott, is what makes this community tick.
Anything we've missed on this segment that you wanted to?
Well, I'll share that we know that the event is right around supper time. We will have coffee, cocoa, treats, cookies, that sort of thing. But if you tend to get hungry right around 5 or 6, either do an early supper or plan for dinner after. But there will be refreshments, seasonal type, Christmas type refreshments. So we want to let you know about that. Seats and tables are going fast. So
don't delay.
That's right.
Yeah, no, seriously, if you do want a table, you do want to sponsor the event in some way, there's still opportunity to do that, but it's dwindling. We just have a couple of tables left.
Before we wrap up, wanted to segue into another holiday event, which is coming up next weekend. It is the Shine On, and of course, they've got downtown Chillicothe with their open house. This is a big time because you get to help Santa light the lights.
Yeah,
I've seen this. I've wondered what if it doesn't work? You flip that switch.
The city electrician earns his keep that Friday night because we want the lights to go out. I mean, that Friday night, I think it's the single event in the community that I've heard more people say, it feels like we're in a Hallmark movie, over and over. The streets are full. People are just the Christmas spirit really just kind of launches that weekend, and really looking forward to it.
As things continue to develop downtown, it seems to be the place to be. And I know that they've got another event coming up New Year's Day, which is going to be pretty cool. Literally cool. It is going to be a polar plunge, and we'll be talking about that in the next few days as well. Gentlemen, thank you for your time and your efforts you're putting into bringing the holiday pops down to Chillicothe.
It'll be a great time. Thank you.
Scott Graham, Luke Feeney, I'm Dan Ramey, and we'll read more about all this when you go to our Facebook page and also check us out on littermedia.com. That's a look at the Holiday Pop Spectacular coming December 11th to OUC Shoemaker Center. Thanks for watching.